What is up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Movie Files. Joining me as always is little brother Jayce. Bro Shot, how are you tonight?
I'm just as tall as you now. Yeah, doing good. Doing good.
Outstanding. So let's talk. A couple weeks ago, maybe it was just last week, I said the Flash series finale was absolutely going to be the worst thing associated with the Flash this year. It didn't matter what happened with the Flash movie, it was going to be the worst thing. And I got news for you.
What? What's news you got?
That's the truth. I saw the Flash movie this week. I'm going to break it down in a non-spoiler format, but I was pretty happy with it. And you know from all our discussions, oh, wait, it's not just you and me. We're joined by the one and only, the gold standard of podcasting. It's Chief. Good sir, how are you? It's coming
evening.
through.
Good evening, guys. Good evening. How are you?
I'm good,
Doing
man.
well.
You don't need a radio voice. It's just us.
And the millions and millions.
Hey, everybody. Good evening.
How you doing, Chief?
Oh, man, I'm well. I appreciate you asking. How are the two of you doing?
I mean, we're doing the thing, man. We're about to talk this DCU universe. I saw the Flash, caught a press screening of it, and you know, our discussions have always been, you know, we're not interested because they told us everything that happens doesn't count anymore. And then James Gunn was like, "Well, the movie's really great, and we're gonna kind of use it to be the springboard as a soft reboot of our new universe." And that made sense because if you're going to do a Flashpoint movie, you might as well kick it off and have Flashpoint and use that as your scratch it off do-over point. And that's what we got. But I asked Jason a question the other day. Well, what happens if this Flash movie ends up being good? And it sets up the scenario where I'm not so sure I'm ready for a new Superman, a new Batman, maybe even a new Flash.
Okay.
And then, go ahead, Jace.
What now with that? What did you? I mean, like, I think I read the review on LowsMovieFile.com. Right, still
Nice.
Still get paid for that, folks. But just I'm trying to figure out. It's like if like your based on your review, it's really good. I'm gonna go to if you go to Lyle's Movie File, you can actually get a pass to actually view it and watch it in Springfield, which I'm doing on Monday. Not Springfield, but Silver Spring. That Springfield wouldn't happen. But like your review says this movie's really good. Like it's tall. It's what you actually want to see from a superhero movie that is not depressing and gloomy. And now
I'll say this. Now I will mention that I was watching the Zack Snyder Justice League to get hyped up for this, and I think we've all agreed that Zack Snyder's Justice League, his whole Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Ultimate Edition, and Zack Snyder's Justice League were Zack Snyder movies. And when DC brought him on, when Warner Brothers brought him on, there should have been no surprises as what they were getting with the Zack Snyder movie. Yes?
Yeah. Like you watched 300 and you watched Watchmen. You knew what you were in for. It was not a PG-13 feel-good movie. It was dark, realistic, quote-unquote, which in your subject matter. That's what you were going to get. That's the world he plays in. It's like, and his movies are not short. They are long. They have to have a little time to develop, and you gotta go along for that ride. And if you don't, then you get the theatrical cuts of Dawn of Justice. It's like you're allowed to have light hand on editing, not. I don't understand that, so just take it out. Plot.
Yeah, let's cut the entire subplot out.
Yeah, like that was a giant mistake. But when it comes to this Flash movie,
he started shaking his head.
But I mean, like Flash movie, it's like if you reboot it, it's like you're gonna run into the same problem I think DC Comics did when they rebooted and acted like, oh well, Superman's new and Wonder Woman's new, but Batman, yeah, all that happened. It was like 2 years ago, and Greenland, everything happened too. Like and Blackest Night, the Sinestro Cold War, yeah, that all happened, but it was like 5 minutes ago. And it all happened like 5 seconds ago because they're all now in their early 30s, and yeah, it just makes sense. And somehow Dick Grayson, like, yeah, don't worry about it. It makes sense. And I think even if this movie just hits exactly like they want, if this movie makes Guardians of the Galaxy money, I mean, I don't know how that's going to happen with so many people probably just rifle it like I'm done with DC. But if it somehow magically does those numbers, then you're left with it. Okay, we want to reboot. All right, so we keep Ezra Miller. All right, do we keep Jason Momoa? Yes, but is Lobo? Oh, okay. We don't keep and everybody from Flashpoint. I don't know how it ends, but we keep everybody there. And then it's like, okay, it's gonna be a giant mess. So they need to straight do a reboot.
Chief, what do you think? I mean, you've been quite outspoken about the need for a Man of Steel sequel. That's not coming. Our boy Henry is gone, and they've already started looking for the next Superman. What could this Flash movie do to make you want to see it?
I don't know, man. From the trailers, I see they have Supermans in it, but they're like a Superwoman or a Supergirl or something.
Supergirl is in it. I will only confirm what's been in the trailers.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, I can only speak on what's in the trailer.
Oh man, this is some dramatic pausing here.
Nah, man, because with this whole universe, all I'm gonna ask is, and I don't think it's a spoiler question. After you walk out the movie, does the movie stay relevant?
I think in this case it will, because whichever way they decide to go next, it can serve as a conclusion, a fitting conclusion to the Snyderverse films. I'm still of the mindset I would love for him to be able to keep doing doing more, because I really like his movies, his versions, the Ultimate Edition of Dawn of Justice and just his Justice League, not the tinkered with Warner Brothers and let's throw in Josh Whedon to poison the well versions. But if they want to do something, I would love to see him do more and just kind of follow what he was starting to tease us with in Justice League. So I still want to see that. But if, there's definitively no more chances, never say never is not going to happen in this case. I think Flash wraps that universe up in a way that makes sense within the DC universe.
Okay. Well, I mean, for those listening, if it wraps it up, then go see it. I'm just so disappointed in them dudes, man. It's
I think even if you're disappointed, what I think you're gonna feel is this movie isn't as big a disappointment as their decisions that will come later. I think this one is one you're going to be like, all right, cool. I can watch this with Man of Steel, Dawn of Justice, Justice League. This is a 4 movie saga. And maybe I want to include Suicide Squad. I don't know. But if you just stick to the Snyder influence films, this
is a Snyder movie?
No, he's not involved in it. It's involving plot threads from his films. It ties into a lot of stuff. It uses Man of Steel as kind of like its foundational piece for traveling back into another world. It is not a spoiler to say General Zod shows up.
Yeah, so I'm sure, but no Henry. You know what I mean?
That goes with Flashpoint. He messes up the timeline, and there's no.
I'm just merely saying though. I mean, you get Zod, you get no Henry, I don't know, man. I just you get Ezra. Is there an Iris?
There is an Iris. Now the thing
is,
an
Iris from that first one where you saved her out the car.
It is her.
Okay, because I do like that Iris.
Yeah, it's like Andy Muschietti, who directed the It and It Chapter 2, is really good at action movies. I mean, because the action elements of It were really good, and he's got a pretty good sense in terms of what makes a good superhero movie. which is weird because looking at it, I wouldn't think, oh, he's going to do a really great job doing a more lighthearted comic book style movie, but he really handles that part very well. And because there's only so much time, and because he's got to get to a Flashpoint S story, you can't spend a half hour, 45 minutes developing Iris as a love.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of like
listen.
She's here. I'm gonna give her some scenes. I mean, you're not gonna feel really shortchanged if you were hoping to see some Barry Iris interaction, but it's not like I've got to get back to Iris. I mean,
no. I didn't expect that. I just wanted to know she was in there, man. That's how little I think of the joint where Iris is on my mind in the movies. Iris back? You know what I mean? Like, you know, what happened with Iris? Like I said, man, you know, they ruined it for me, man.
I think this film will feel like a bow to you, where it's like, man, I really wish they had just kept doing this thing, giving me more Henry Cavill, Superman, a Ben Affleck versus Deathstroke movie, a good sequel to Wonder Woman, and another Justice League where they're fighting a Legion of Doom. Bro, I'm all for that.
They had just hooked it up. Especially the Snyder cut. You saw Darkseid. He was standing there. Yeah. You know, the boat scene at the end with Luthor. They was forming the Legion of Doom.
Not in that one. That was a Josh Whedon switch.
Well, I'm just saying,
but yeah, I'm with you. That would have been fun.
So I'm just saying that these are the things that, and then you get this, and then you get, you know, you get puny Batman. Because it was puny Batman. Let's be honest. It was puny Batman.
Realistic for punks.
You know, like they gave up on Wonder Woman because 1984 was a give up. I don't care what anybody says. They just, you know, I think that was some turmoil within DC at the time, and they was just like, let's throw them a product. And this ain't very good. Give it to the people. You know what I mean? Like when you see those commercials and they be like, if you drink water from this military base, you know what I mean? And that's what they were doing. They were giving from Camp Lejeune water. Hey, drink this water. And now, you know, pouring us cups of it. And I feel like that's what they did, knowing that the product wasn't a good product, and they were just trying to get us to drink it. You're thirsty, ain't you? So
not that
now
we'll not be that thirsty. Sorry.
So now, you know, the dude now the new guy, which and sometimes what gets on my nerves about the new guys is arrogance.
Which one are you talking about?
The new guy, Gunn.
Oh, James Gunn. I mean, I don't know if you call him new guy.
Arrogant, man. The way he speaks, because you know the people are complaining, and he's just like, eh. And I think that's how we got in trouble in DC in the first place.
I think he's not. He's like, hey, give us a chance. It's like, hey, the studio has made a decision to go in a different direction, but give us the new heads a chance. Like, I don't think that's being arrogant. It's like, I'm not gonna harp on you guys complaining about it because the decision's been made. So let's try and go in the direction that y'all can see some movies y'all want to see. Like, would you like to see a Superman actually on TV? I think you do. So let's go with that. I don't think on
TV.
I mean, like the way he's saying is like basically if the actors playing, they're on animated, they're on TV. If you see them, that Superman, that Batman, if they are in the DC proper, will be all around DC. This person will travel. Everybody will be the Phil Coulson of the DC universe going forward.
So all the animated stories will be part of the same universe.
So they do movies in the future under this DCU umbrella. That's what's going to take place. So they've got some animated shows. They're going to be voiced by the cast of the live action stuff and vice versa. So that's how it's supposed to work. But they are still going to have an Elseworlds component. So you can have your Robert Pattinson Batman, your Joaquin Phoenix Joker. But I guess they're going to make some special delineation to show this is not part of the regular universe, which is kind of why I wish they would be more experimental and try out some other stuff too, because why not? But yeah.
So is Robert Pattinson? Is he locked in now? Is that what we're? Is that what
He's
we're
locked
doing?
into his Matt Reeves Batman movies. He's Elseworlds Batman. He's not the standard regular Batman that's going to be in all these other films going forward.
So he's not coming back.
He's coming back in his pocket Elseworlds of Gotham.
Yeah, just like Joaquin Phoenix is Joker in the Joker movies.
It's okay. So it's still the stupid, silly stuff. Right? Okay, we got Pocket Batman. We got, regular Batman. We got
Hey, did you see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
Nah, man.
See, I feel like if you'd seen that movie, you would be a lot more excited about James Gunn taking over the DCU, because I was kind of like, I don't know, man. I wasn't really feeling Peacemaker. I felt like he was trying too hard with some of those jokes and humor. So I was really cool on Volume 3. And then I saw it and was like, oh my gosh, this was a really great Marvel movie. I can't believe it's taking this long to get something on the level of, what was the norm with phase 1 and 2.
It sounds like I'm going to be crying my eyes out in that movie. That's what it sounds like.
It's not like that. It's just, they have really good parts. So it's like, It's funny. They have great action, strong character development. I mean, you've been with these characters for 2 Guardians and 2 Avenger films. So it feels like we know these guys, and it's like, oh no, watch out for that laser blast. Don't get killed. So it's that, but it's also like the stakes are high. And then there's some emotional stuff. So it's not just like it's all dark and gloomy and brooding. It's a whole gamut of emotions that come through. And I kind of, after Peacemaker, felt like James Gunn was just like, haha, here's some more jokes about crushes. This is going to be so funny. But that's not how Guardians was at all. And I'm just going to assume that he's not going to do the same thing with every DC character. And I'm actually really excited about what he's going to do with Superman. Jayce, you gonna help me out? You gonna support that or what? Chief is skeptical.
No, because it's like, especially if you didn't see Guardians, you see that you kind of forget James Gunn's actually a really good director. Honestly, I think you kind of, especially being away from some of his proper, Guardians proper, because it's like, if think about how when you watch Guardians 2, the emotion you got from that, he very much translates that into the Guardians 3. And it's like, okay, this guy knows how to make a good movie, especially give him the characters. You let him do his thing, he can do a really good job. And I think, I like Peacemaker. Jeff didn't, but I like Peacemaker. I thought it was funny. In the cameo at the end, also screwing everything up, I also like that, because that just like, once again, DC, you guys don't know what you're freaking doing, and let me have a little fun with it. I think I agree with Chief on one part. It's like, having a pocket universe is stupid. Like, cancel it all. This is what you have Flashpoint for. To burn
DC's all about the multiverse. DC's all about the multiverse.
No, they're not, because you would have kept the Snyderverse if you cared about the multiverse. Like, so you don't. You want a homogeneous universe, which that's cool. Like, because you guys need to be on one voice, one accord. So You want to go with the James Gunn and Peter Safran? Cool. And I got no problem with you. Do what you need to do. But having these stupid things on the back burner are the exact thing you said was too confusing. And you're going to let, so-and-so, Matt Reeves doesn't want Batman to look like this in your universe, so we're going to listen to him. Like,
I don't think they need to worry about it. Matt Reeves was in place before Gunn and Safran came on board. So that's why it's like,
what happens with Peacemaker season 2?
They're holding off on Peacemaker season 2. They're not working on that right now. Gunn is apparently focusing his efforts on Superman Legacy. I think that's the name.
Okay.
He's working on casting people.
And
Peacemaker 2 is coming, Chief. You don't have to be upset.
Hold on. A movie that's supposed to be coming out in 2025?
I don't know how this will work.
No, that's what you should. You should take some time, write a movie, and not be beholden to a script and say, hey, come out with some product, or you'll get Wonder Woman 1984. Like, come up like, hey,
Yo,
we are.
Wonder Woman got delayed, and we still got that bull.
Yes.
Wonder Woman got delayed a year.
No, it was pandemic delayed. It wasn't delayed.
Man, listen, Tom Cruise worked during the pandemic. Matter of fact, he threw a fit. If I catch anyone not wearing a mask, you're gone. So don't tell me about pandemic delays because they worked during the pandemic. I know they did because I heard Tom Cruise yelling at the cast. I mean, not the cast, the crew, talking about he was going to fire them.
You know what? After Maverick, he can do whatever the heck he wants to do. I'm just like, whatever it takes to get them along.
Tom could have done whatever he wanted to do years ago.
Well, I'm with him on that one.
But my point is, we waited for the garbage. Now we're waiting again. Like DC, and that's my problem with DC. That's why it irritates me. That's another problem. It takes too long to get the product out. You know what I mean? And then when they give you the product, it's not good. It's been stepped on. So you've been keeping going on. You've been like, yo, this ain't the product that I was getting originally. Like, yo, you keep cutting the product, and it's bad product, and it's hitting the streets, and it's horrible. And these dudes love to give you bad product. It's their thing. So now we're waiting again for what? Bad product. Well, Aquaman, it hasn't. We're still waiting.
Are you waiting for Aquaman?
Huh?
Are you waiting for Aquaman?
Well, listen, Aquaman came out 3 years ago.
I'm not
waiting for it anymore. I was waiting for it a year and a half to 2 after it came out, but now I'm like, you know what, man, the hell with it.
The thing is, like, the real truth is, like, and we have gotten spoiled by good product of Marvel. It takes them like 3 years to put out a sequel. It's like, but you always have some cameo to remind you this character's still alive. They're still doing their thing. Like, between Civil War, Civil War and then the last Captain America movie. Well, that was the last Captain America movie, but it was like, it's like, I'm sorry, but between that and Winter Soldier, how many movies was Cap in? Like, you saw them. Oh, their thing is still going. Their story is going. With DC, it's everybody's so siloed. It's like, hey, you could have put a cameo of Bruce Wayne dropping Aquaman back to the sea in the beginning of Aquaman, like just where he found him, where he took the jet. You could have had him, hey, Bruce, thanks for dropping me off. Like, I could have got here faster swimming, but they didn't. They don't do that. It's like, okay, so this is taking too long. All right, Shazam happened. Shazam was waiting 5 years for his sequel, and it's like, hey, guys, I got so jerked around, and y'all switched out the daggone end credit scene because The Rock wasn't happy, instead of just letting us do what we needed to do. Like, they do stupid stuff like capitulating somebody's ego, and then it's like, okay, well, we're gonna delay.
Talk about Hobbs. What you talk about, Hobbs?
Or DC. As far as DC, he's on my list. But I appreciate him for answering the call, having a couple beers, like I said, and doing.
I'm not mad at Rock, man. I appreciate him trying to get the DC thing back on track because nobody was trying, and then they came and they cut him at his legs. But
come on, you can't go in your boss's thing after you get the contract and say, "All right, thank you, staff. I know you're happy that I've actually made changes to this place, and you guys are really happy that I'm here." Hell no, they'd be like, boss would be like, get the hell this dude out of here. Like, that's right. It's like, you got to be like, you have to play some point in the game. And I know Rock knows how to play better than anybody, but him patting himself on the back so hard is literally like, yeah, we're not going to do that. And yes, we got to look at
the DC, the problem with DC, man, is it's not only there's nothing in between sequels. Like, they're not constantly. I mean, Marvel constantly bombarded you. There was an Iron Man. If there wasn't an Avengers. There was a Thor. If there wasn't Avengers, there was a Black Widow coming out.
That's what I was saying. Like, you had those gap movies that remind you this universe still exists, and DC has been neglecting. It's like, now, even with the schedule that Peter Safran and James Gunn are mentioning, there's going to be the exact same problem. It's like, all right, so we're going to have.
Hey, whoa, hold on now. Now, Gunn has been very good about working his wife into stuff. Now we've seen her come from one movie to the next, so she'll probably be, huh?
Who's his wife?
You watch Peacemaker?
No.
Oh,
okay.
I don't know who to tell you then. If you haven't seen, I can't help you because she's been in a bunch of stuff. But we've seen her connect. We've seen Waller in multiple movies, so we've seen that already in DC films. And we're like, why can't they have so and so who show up? They've done that. It's just they go long stretches of movies without having anything. So, having that Superman cameo in Shazam would have been really good. Having, they had Batman show up in Suicide Squad. So they've had stuff. It's just they needed more of it. And they really needed a film like Justice League that could bring everybody together, then let them go their separate ways, then bring them back together again. And I don't know the way they had everything set up in the Zack Snyder universe that was ever really feasible. But going forward, I'm more confident that James Gunn will do that. Now, what I am less thrilled about is the fact that there's some characters like Booster Gold, Swamp Thing, Supergirl, Themyscira in that mix. Now, I'm always about seeing Amazons doing their thing, but I don't know if I really need to see that before we get a Wonder Woman proper movie. We're going to have Batman and Damian. That's going to be cool. But they still need that overarching movie, that Justice League, to bring them all together.
Wonder Woman is a TV show, right?
Yeah, but they're gonna bring those. Everything's gonna be connected.
I mean, like you can mention Amazon, like that's. I mean, you can use that to set up your new Wonder Woman, but it's like
but that Amazon show is gonna be back in the day.
Bouncing Boy.
But you can always have an Amazon. I mean, they're immortal, so you can always have an Amazon that you remember from the TV show showing up in Superman and just like saying the line, drinking a coffee, no, and it's just that was my Easter egg. But you need 3 things at least a year to say, all right, this is how Marvel like James Gunn and Peter Safran can't be so micromanaged. Like that we're gonna be the ones doing all this because they're gonna burn out before they get to their second movie. So it's like, all right, we gotta trust. Our team has got to be 10 directors or 10 creators that we trust not to screw this up. We give them the overall. Here's what we're building to. We're building to Justice League versus Legion of Doom. Get us there.
Let me ask this. So Wonder Woman's out now too, right? That's over with, right? There's no more Gal Gadot.
Wonder Woman movie
and then Linda Carter.
Pretty much it.
The Linda Carter connection at the end of that movie. That's what I'm saying. If you think about Marvel, at the end of each movie, when they had those little things,
the stones, Infinity Stones.
No.
You're talking about the postcard.
The little at the end of all the credits, the little blurb of something would happen when they would talk. Like the first one was. What's his name? Walking up on Stark, talking about he was trying to start a group of superpowered individuals, right? And so all those little end credits, I guess, basically what they are, led to something. You understand what I'm saying? Like each one led to a movie, blah 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 blah. DC's end credits, they don't lead anywhere.
That's true. That's not true.
Bro,
Bruce Wayne got the files of everybody from Amanda Waller. That's how he was able to track them down after Suicide Squad. Bruce Wayne, at the end of Suicide Squad, he came through, got her folder where she had all the information.
Is that the end credit?
Yeah, it was in the end credit.
I never even watched the end credit of Suicide. I'm like Batman.
Yeah, Batman was in the movie.
The new one without Will Smith with Idris Elba.
No, the first one. The first one with
Will Smith.
Yeah, because that was all laced into the Snyderverse. So
no,
they had that.
But that's the thing is like DC lacked a true Kevin Feige who could say, "Hey, I got a 10-year plan. Here's what I'm building towards." Like
I don't know if Kevin Feige had a 10-year plan.
Technically speaking, Zack Snyder was that, but they didn't give Zack Snyder the keys completely like they did. Marvel did correctly. With Kevin Feige, like, okay, go. Like, you brought us Iron Man that keeps us out of bankruptcy. Okay, cool. Like, what's your next idea? Here's what I'm going with, and here's what I'm building to. Okay, go. And We'll put you accordingly budgets. We're not expecting Captain America, Thor to be these giant numbers, but they end up growing into giant numbers. And it's like
Paramount Pictures had no idea how big Marvel Studios was going to be. They were like, Fox and Sony have the superhero market down. Warner Brothers is doing Batman again. All right, let's do something. So when Iron Man dropped in 2008, it wasn't this thing of, oh, we've got our hands on this $1 billion empire. It's like, let's just try it. Hey, you want to keep them all colorful in a red and gold suit? Yeah, whatever. And it worked. Hulk worked well enough that they were like, okay, let's keep it going. Oh, there's a story after these post credits. Okay, that's interesting. All right, what else is happening? So by the time Iron Man 2 dropped, Thor dropped, Captain America dropped, people were like, oh man, we're about to get the Avengers. And the Avengers super exceeded all expectations and reset the superhero movie market.
Sure.
DC's biggest problem was at that point, they weren't, oh shoot, we need to get on this. They were like, yeah, we're fine. We'll just let Christopher Nolan keep doing his Dark Knight thing because everybody loves our movies anyway. And even though Dark Knight and Iron Man came out the same year, one franchise was going to the moon. The other was like,
the bottom's about to drop. End it.
Yeah, I mean, they were like, okay, we can't put Christopher Nolan's Batman in anything else. We won't do anything except for a really limp try with Green Lantern that felt so dated when it came out. Let's start all over again with Man of Steel. And Man of Steel had little Easter eggs. They had the Wayne Tech satellite and Luthor or Lex. What is it? What is Lex business? LexCorp.
LexCorp. It was LuthorCorp at that point.
So they had stuff kind of like, here's what's coming. And then we got Batman versus Superman. They introduced Wonder Woman. They teased Cyborg, Aquaman, and Flash. So he had a plan. It was just, I don't know. I think maybe he tried to do too much, killing off Superman and Batman versus Superman. I think that was a big problem. He shouldn't have done that. He should have just let those three kind of do something. Maybe the three of them in a movie, and then the real threat of Darkseid comes in. We need more help. And then they go get Cyborg, Aquaman, and Flash, and Martian Manhunter, and whoever else. I think that would have been a better way to go. But killing Superman after the very first sequel featuring Superman didn't work.
What's the problem? Like you needed to have, like you couldn't have killed off Captain America before Avengers. Like that's really, I mean, like, so it's like as much as we give Zack Snyder praise, and I think he made a good universe in his universe, but it's like sometimes you don't give a guy keys if you know what he's going to do. It's like he's a much more dark, realistic movie, you know. And it's like we see where the tide is turning. Probably don't want to go that route. Or if we do, we got to go maybe, like as Javon used to say, like, let's go freaking R-rated superheroes. And maybe not even use our big superheroes. Let's use the Authority. Like, that's going to be our answer to Marvel. Like, if we're going to go there, let's go.
That answer would get shut down on so many levels. People are like, nope, that's not it. It'd be like how The Boys are received without the humor. And you don't really see a lot of people outside of real hardcore comic fans watching or rocking Homelander costumes or whatever, cosplay of Homelander. It's because it's real niche. It's like people go, ooh, that's a bad Superman. But it's not like what DC really wants or Warner Brothers wants out of their universe. I think the idea, I mean, I'm sure Zack Snyder could sell them with some really great visuals and they're like, oh, that's amazing. That looks cool. He's really good at that. He probably needed better writers to guide the story along and not go so far dark. Because it was an antithesis to what they were doing in MCU, it was cool. I think it had a nice place. But for a real DC universe, they needed to pivot as soon as Nick Fury said, I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative. They should have at that point ripped up every script they had, everything they had coming down the pipe and go, we got to start over. We need to sit down, lock ourselves away for a week and come up with a plan that involves bringing the Justice League together. And
like once you like after opening weekend numbers of Iron Man come out, that is the conversation Warner Brothers should have. Like, all right, we need our comic book writers in here because unlike Paramount, we own all this stuff. We need story. Like Jeff Johns, you're not working on Green Lantern or Justice League anymore. You're working on this, and I know they did. He was one of the writers on Green Lantern, but it was a big movie. But it's like, no, they're going for the moonshot here. We can beat them because we own all this. We don't have to talk to a Paramount. We don't have to talk to Fox to try and see if we can get a character. We own everything. So let's go and beat them there. And
that's why Green Lantern.
Here's our original 7 Justice League. Make that ish happen.
And that's why Green Lantern was such a big blow to them, because they told a 2002 origin movie in 2011. And Green Lantern could have been the start of their universe. But by the next year, the Marvel Studios was on the Avengers, and then it changed everything all over again. It was like, you guys are so far behind. And then it was like, all right, well, let's do Man of Steel. And I think we all liked Man of Steel. Jayce didn't like the Zod, but that was cool. We got to see Superman do some real fights for a change. He wasn't just sitting back. Chief, I know you like that action in that piece.
I mean, it was good, man. I agree with Jayce, though. I think they should have sent Zod to the Phantom Zone, all of them, too. I mean, we know Superman to kill, but
again, that's Zack Snyder.
But like I said, man, mistakes were made, and mistakes continue to be made, and well, you know what I mean? Because even with Marvel, let's be honest about Iron Man for a second. The first one was fantastic. After the first one,
diminishing returns.
So and the Thor, the first Thor was great. Oh no, hold on, I'm sorry. First Thor was cool. Ragnarok was great.
Yes.
Every other Thor was
well, Dark World was fine. Nah. I know people didn't like it being so dark. It was fine.
Yeah. But where was Dark World on your MCU movie list?
It's low. It's low, but that's because the other movies are better. Like I would never watch Love and Thunder again. I would watch Dark World in the build up to a marathon getting me to Endgame.
On the flip side of those two movies, every Captain America was good.
They were great. Not a bad Cap movie.
You can't find a Captain America that you was like, oh, that was bum sauce. They was all fire.
Captain America movies, you can always put somebody who's not a comic book fan and watch that movie like that was good.
And the Avenger movies, of course. So
and the Spider-Man.
Even when you were watching those movies that were just you knew it was leading you to a place. And that's the problem. That's always been the problem with these other casts. And that's the problem with, so like I said, man, this whole transition thing to the Ezra Miller version of
all right,
Flashpoint, this new Flash.
Hold on, Chief. We got Mindy Weller-Friedman, a good friend of Lyle's Movie Files, who just dropped in. What's up, Mindy? Mindy says, I'm a Marvel movie fan, but I feel like where the Marvel movies have recently faltered, The Flash may just be the film that finally jettisons DC to the next level that really pulls over the Marvel fans. I've seen The Flash 3 times and loved it each time. Now, see, I do not doubt that, because I feel like there's a lot of people who are going to feel like Mindy. And thank you, Mindy. Glad to see you saw it, because I saw it yesterday. So I was really eager to hear from other people who've seen it. But I think Flash is really going to get people excited about what's to come. And I've seen some people that are just like, this Flash movie's terrible. I'm not on that boat at all. I'm like, yo, this is what they should have been doing all along. Because I feel like it was a better mix of what Warner Brothers, what DC Comics fans envisioned out of DC movies. Maybe after they saw the first Avengers film, it was like, okay, DC, what y'all going to do? We're going to have Superman snap Zod's neck, and we're going to kill Superman. Oh,
okay.
Okay.
Here's my thing, and this is a straight up dumb ass business decision. This movie was made around the same time as Wonder Woman 1984, and literally is just getting probably some little special effects touch-ups. But this movie was done then. And
I would say that the special effects are a little gummy. There's some scenes that's like they can probably fix that CGI. That may be something they do when it comes to home video. Like, let's tweak this scene. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. But
right,
I think it was really fun. And
I mean, like,
they missed in these films.
But the good thing is, if they saw the calendar, if let's say the Warner people said, "Hey, we see the calendar. There's nothing from Marvel coming out, and if it is, it's C tier characters." This is the one we can hook them in. If that's the case, I'm not gonna mess with them because it's like that's probably it's like I mentioned this like months ago. I'm like, this is the time when you saw how weak this schedule was for Marvel. It's like, yeah, I see where you guys are going. I got an opportunity here. And if you think this is Flash movie is the one we've been holding, because these people are ready to jump. Because once they got, it's going to take so. We see Kang, and we fear not the Nth Man. Like we got some here, and if they do, that's cool. If it's the case, I'm seeing the movie on Monday. I will sing its praises and be like, hey, Warner Brother. I mean, maybe Marvel needs to watch out. Like if I got said, I'll be cool with it.
I think, I mean, we were going to talk about this later, but let's mention it now because Chris Hemsworth was talking about Thor: Love and Thunder. He said, you know, it was a little bit too silly. We got a little bit too far ahead of ourselves here with the jokey jokes. And yeah, it was a disappointment to people. And we understand now why. And then it was going, yeah, I think Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino were talking trash about comic book movies at that point, and he said in this interview with GQ, that's super depressing when I hear that. There goes two of my heroes I won't work with. I guess they're not a fan of me. And it's really interesting because I feel like he's really, really interested. Like he said he hadn't seen Quantumania, and he said based on the trailers, he had some ideas why audiences may not have taken to the threequel. That's the trick. You have to separate all those stories. The moment it's like in trailer voice, your world is in danger, the entire universe. It's like, yeah, so it was the last 24 films. It has to become a bit more personal and grounded. And I think when you look at a film like Flash, yeah, it's kind of like the universe is sort of kind of at stake, but it's very focused. You know the plot point of Flashpoint. I'm not spoiling anything on that end for you. But I feel like it was a personal story that meant something to that character. And as such, it connects and you care about what's going on with that character and the people that interact with that character. And I feel like we've been kind of missing that for Marvel Phase 4 and now Phase 5. I feel like the only ones that really touched the right notes have been Shang-Chi, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever for a separate reason, not because this story was so amazing and awesome. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and the 2 Spider-Man films. But I think Flash could really turn the tide if they go forward and Aquaman's not going back and going, all right, well, forget all the stuff we learned in Flash. And Blue Beetle's more of the same. But I think it's time.
Like the Flashpoint needed to be, they should have switched the calendar. I don't know what the rest of them bring, but Flashpoint should have been the end. It's like this is.
Wait till you see it before.
Okay,
nice for him.
Like, going back to Chris Hemsworth, he's. I'm glad he's like, hey, I don't have to. You don't have to wait 20 years for me to say, yeah. We were jumping ahead of our skis. We did. We admit it. Me and Taika probably we might not have another Thor to run this back, but yeah, we know what we did. Our bad. And I think when he says like, yeah, Kang didn't make sense. I mean, he's like, yeah, Kang didn't make sense for Ant-Man. It's like this was a guy who was dealing with like low level stuff, and now he's fighting world destroyers. That doesn't make sense. So I don't need to see it. He's like, they even got a group text. I mean, like they're all talking, all the Avengers talking, and it's not even like.
I thought that was really wild. Like, you know, they're doing a group text like us. Hey, Jeremy, what you trying to do, man? That was wild that they still are in touch like that. I'm like, man, that's pretty cool.
That was cool. But he's like, yeah, like I mean, he's like, and I think one of the other things Chris said, he's like, hey, I have an 8-year-old son and his friends critiquing how that movie, Love and Thunder, and he's like, that's how bad. It's like my kids are saying, yeah, that was a little dumb, Dad. It's like, damn, I'm sorry, my bad. So having like a story that actually connects with people, like, all right, this is a character. Like, I'm cool with this. Like, if you get like very much like, I mean, like picking on like, and I'm saying like Ms. Marvel had great characters, you know, they were strong, but it was like, what are we doing here? And I'm sure it's building to something, but it was like, I would have almost liked to see Kamala come in the Marvel movie, not looking like she's trying to replace Captain Marvel, but you know, hey, how you doing? Hey, just the same personality, just transported in the movie, not looking like she's replacing. and I would have been cool. But
I think these shows need to be like 4 or at most 6 episodes. I think they're a little bit too long because it feels like they have to stretch out some episodes. And unless it's really important, they should probably go to 4. And I think that would just boil it down to all the important stuff. Basically, a movie, I guess 2 movies if it's an hour show. But I feel like when you do it that way, because they're not in costume, they're not fighting villains the whole time. So after you watch 4 episodes, that's the equivalent of watching 2 movies with these characters. And if they're not in costume, if they're spending so much time learning the ropes of being a hero, it's like, dude, by this point, Captain America's fighting Winter Soldier. Yeah, Iron Man was teaming up with War Machine against the dude who was asking for his board. That time equity that the audience is putting into these TV shows is kind of being squandered for the most part, because it's like, you guys have seen so much more on the movie front with these characters, and they were cooler for it. I don't need to know all these little details and, why he doesn't remember where he is and who this other guy is in his place.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that's why it's like, I would have waited, like, okay, like Captain America, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah, I would fear that show. Look, you guys, that's the show. We're not messing with that. The rest of them, I mean, I'm sitting behind the tree warming up, like, it's my time. Like, I think I'm not saying I want to see Marvel get dethroned, like, at all. I'm going to go see the Marvels, but I also want to see another reason beside Fast and Furious and Mission Impossible to go to the movie theater.
Hey, Chief, what do you think? Jayce just said he doesn't want to see Marvel dethroned. I think it would be way great for Marvel to get dethroned and have to work harder again, so we don't have films like Love and Thunder coming down the pike anymore.
Yeah, well, and I feel you. I think Marvel has gotten kind of late. Like Captain Marvel, we haven't seen a new one of those, right? It's been more than time has passed for us to see a new one.
Yeah, it's 2019 on that one.
So, and here's the thing, man, and I always tell people this. I go to a barber and I get my hair cut by him. But after a while, I notice my barber gets lazy. Because, he's just so used to you. He just comes in and he just kind of goes through the motions. And then you got to quit that barber for a little while, find another barber. And then you start to notice you get the tight. And then when that barber starts to get lazy, then you can go back to your original barber. So every once in a while, I walk out and be like, this cat, I ain't feeling it. So my barber done got lazy. And I feel like Marvel at this point is my barber. He's gotten lazy. He's like, oh, you're going to come no matter what. Mm-hmm. And so now I've got to go on and move to a new barber in order for him to be like, damn, what happened to him? Okay, he's not here this week. Okay, well, he'll be there. He'll be there next week. Oh, no, what? What's going on? And then 4 months later, I show back up. He's like, where you been? Man, work. Like he can see the remnants of my last shape up about a week and a half ago. So he knows I ain't just been at work. He knows, hey, this dude's been going ahead and getting another. Let me show him I'm best. And then that's when you start to get that tight shape up again. When you walk out that day, you're like, yeah, this is why I come. You know what I mean? And I think that every once in a while you got to walk away from your barber, just like I think we got to walk away from Marvel on some things. And I think they're starting to slow down. The product is starting to get watered. And I don't think I think they've made so much at this point, and their fan base is so big that they don't take the time to do what they need to do anymore. And like I said, they've got a whole bunch of the stuff they're just slowing to put out. Like, but
I think what happened, they tried so hard to push everything like, bam, here it is. Here's all this cool new stuff we've got. And some of the problem was they really didn't understand that the fans who don't read comic book movies or don't read comic books weren't going, hey, man, why are you replacing Captain America with Falcon? It's like, no, that's from a comic book storyline. And I don't want to see a new Hawkeye. I don't want to see a new Iron Man. I want to see a new Hulk. Who is this kid running around saying he's Hulk's son? I don't want to see She-Hulk as the new Hulk either. it was a huge season, a huge phase of replacement characters stepping up where the fans were like, I didn't ask for this. Thank you. I mean, that'd be like you going to your barber and he gives you a Jerry curl. And you're like, whoa, dude. That's not what I was coming in here for.
The S curl might look nice, but not the
maybe
Jerry.
so. I mean, yeah, I can see rocking the 90s.
But I get what you're saying, bro. But like, She-Hulk was just bad business. Let's be honest. It was bad business. I think we all would have enjoyed a Hulk series.
Yeah, we like it.
No, I would have liked the actual legal drama Hulk, She-Hulk. But as soon as the guys say, "Hey, we can't write a legal drama," you're fired. Like, no, you can't do what the actual basic task you were here for. Like, move on. Like, Marvel didn't make much sense, like when we were saying quality control. It's like that's what it was. Like when these guys pitch you this show, and you say, "All right, here's this," and then say, "Well, we can't do the legal part. You're fired." Like then that's you can't do that.
That was their pitch.
Like,
and then there was all in a super villain camp.
It's like, all right, if you said you were going to do a Hawkeye show, but we don't actually like archery. Like, no,
we don't understand what it means to be an archer.
Yeah, it's like we think it's a gymnast. Like, no, like that would have been. I mean, it's like that was their problem. It's like Marvel has done that in this phase, and it's like, whoa, like, and I'm glad. Like, I don't know who, at what point, Bob Iger and the previous CEO said, "Hey, we need to chill on these TV shows that go nowhere, and they're diluting what our product because we're spending the same amount of money into them, but we're not getting the views and added revenue that we want. That revenue multiplier is not there on these shows. Like people are not watching them repeatedly and adding content hours to us. They are like never touching this again. Like She-Hulk, like it's celebrated yada yada yada. But since She-Hulk has been over, no one's talked about that show. Other than thank God I won't have to watch it again.
Who celebrated it?
Oh man, how many people? You forget how many people were trying to say you were an idiot for not liking that show, and it was like, no, it's bad. It's a bad show. You don't have to
listen, man. Don't let that internet fool you. I don't know no one who celebrated it. That was a bots. Those were bots with the celebration. Ain't nobody I know celebrated She-Hulk. That's the Disney bots hit it up. Oh, you know what I mean? Since Ally McBeal. Nah.
Ally McBeal is funny.
I mean, like, I don't even know. Like, you could have hired the guys, Franklin and Bash. Those guys write a good legal show. It's like, we don't know how to write a legal drama. Then get those dudes in here as consultants. I could have helped you, but I am not a litigator, and I could have like, okay, guys, here's what you can do. Let's go for me. Like, just basic stuff. Not, here's a client meeting.
They could have put another episode of The Defenders instead of She-Hulk for me. You know what I mean? Iron Fist.
Would you rather watch an extended edition of Iron Fist season 1 versus watching season of She-Hulk?
I'm instantly Iron Fist season 1. I hated She-Hulk, bro, and I watched it so I could come on this podcast and talk about it, but it was just too much. I felt it was too. They were angry towards men. I felt like the plots didn't make any sense. I think the Wrecking Crew was on there, and they were kind of.
I owe Jeff a mulligan on that. I'm like, they're gonna do something with him. Like, no, they were joking.
And then, like I said, at the end, they were all taking a sabbatical. I don't even know, man.
Can we stop? I'm almost remembering the plot of that show.
Right?
Can we
the wedding, the fight at the wedding? It was just corny as hell. I didn't like it.
Let's go back to Flash and the future of DC. So on the horizon, we've got Aquaman, the Lost Kingdom, I think it is. We've got Blue Beetle. I feel like Blue Beetle is a character, it's a property that should be easy to make work. It's basically take the Spider-Man formula, kid finds out he has superpowers, how does it interact with his family, his friends, have him fight a villain, you got it. I don't think that should be hard.
Right.
And that one, depending on how it does, will be incorporated into this new universe. James Gunn's talked about it, so I guess he's seen enough of it to feel like, all right, this can be part of our universe too. And Superman's going to kick out the official thing in 2025. I don't know how that's going to be impacted / affected by the writer's strike, but we'll see what happens.
It's like now, so you're basically saying, hey, this is our opportunity time, but we have nothing for a year.
Everything's all right, fella. They called me up to go write for it.
All right, Chief. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing your script.
Blue Kryptonite will make him stronger.
And I'm sure his vision will be blue too.
I will tell you, in this film, when Supergirl gets hit or hits a car or something, it dents.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Thank you.
Sasha Calle was really good as Kara Zor-El. She was really impressive. I want her to have more screen time. I know they've got a Supergirl movie coming. I think it would be a real shame if she does not continue on as a character. And Michael Keaton, you may be surprised to hear this, really good Batman.
Didn't think that would be the case. Okay.
Who knew?
Okay, all right.
And I'm also not spoiling anything by saying that Ben Affleck still really good as Batman. And in my alternate multiverse world, I'd be watching his 4th Batman film now with him and Robin taking on Joker and Penguin and Riddler and Catwoman, or doing a last Halloween adaptation.
The funny thing is you could have had Robert Pattinson be Robin. So that's telling you how ridiculous it is.
He would have had, I feel like he's way better suited to be a Jason Todd. He's a little intense and broody. I think he'd have been a really good Red Hood. Because he doesn't need to be big and bulky to be Red Hood. Just needs 2 blasting firearms there and doing his thing.
Well, he definitely wasn't big and bulky for Batman.
It's always like the idea is like, oh, well, for a young Batman who doesn't understand the physical toll, maybe he's young playboy and didn't understand, yeah, you need to put on some man size. Like
Playboy? That dude wasn't no playboy. That dude was like a goth rocker. Like, he just had
I'm gonna scribble on my floor.
Yeah, he was like a male version
that was the part I was like, why are you spray painting your floor, man?
Wednesday Addams. That's who you remind me of. A male version of Wednesday Addams. Just, you know what I mean?
Minus the cool dance.
Right. No cool dance.
Yeah. All right. Well, fellas, this was, so far, it has been an amazing year. We're at the halfway point for action movie fans. It's been nuts. We got John Wick Chapter 4. Outstanding. Fast X. Outstanding. We've also had Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and still on the horizon, because the trailer just dropped today, Expendables 4, baby. And both the look on your faces would indicate that you
I did not know that was on the I don't know why I didn't see that was on the horizon.
I've never watched Expendables Part 1.
Oh my gosh.
You do yourself a disservice.
Hurting me with this.
That is like, that's on Netflix. Go watch that. Like, seriously. Like, no. Like,
yeah, man, that was fun.
And I'm sorry, I think you're a Mel Gibson fan, so watch Expendables 3. Even better.
Yeah, I don't like Mel Gibson.
So yeah, you should watch that just to see what happens to him.
I don't like Mel Gibson, man. I refuse. I haven't watched the Mel Gibson movie since that stuff came out. Yeah. So, and I would continue not watching a Mel Gibson movie. Even like the other day, part 3 of part 3 or 4 of Lethal Weapon was on, and I wanted to sit down and watch it, and I couldn't. You know what I mean? So it just angered me all over again. And I'm like, I love Lethal Weapons. You know what I mean? I love
these movies, man.
Was it a Apocalypto with Jaguar Paul? It was like took place in the Mayans joint where he went to a tribal group invaded his his area and killed most of the people who were with him, and his wife and his baby got trapped in a hole.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm fascinated. Yeah, dude.
Bro, it's a Mel Gibson movie. He's not in it.
I don't watch Mel Gibson movies.
It's to me, it's one of the best. One of his best movies, and I think he directed it or something. It's a great movie.
All right. Well, let me see. Since you guys are just like not aware of what's happening here, let me see if I can actually make this a reality. All right. Here we
What
go.
else we got?
There it is, right there. Expendables 4. Jason Statham. Note he's in the top, so he's probably gonna get more screen time. 50 cents. Megan Fox, Dolph Lundgren, Tony Jaa,
Okay.
Randy Couture, Andy Garcia, Sly Stallone, and Uwe's, I think his first name is Itzo from The Raid.
Okay.
That's our cast. And that's really all I needed to hear. 50 Cent is going to be doing his thing. 50.
Is 50 replacing Terry?
Yes. So we win all the way around.
You got me. You got yourself $20 on that.
Guess what? Y'all enjoy.
I'm gonna need you to watch these first movies, Chief. And
Don't
don't watch it on TNT or anything like that. You need to watch the full uncut rated R version.
Not gonna be able to do it at this juncture.
This is ridiculous. How are you not watching?
You got a summertime. Like this is like the perfect time to watch those on Netflix and be like, okay, all right, that wasn't bad.
We've already got a Mission Impossible coming too. We've got Aquaman. We've got, maybe Aquaman's gonna be good. We got Flash. That was solid. Good action movie. I'm trying to think, has there been another year that's just packed so many banger action movies after another?
See, I know we've talked about this, and I have the
Expendables put it over the edge for me.
I have that, recent fallacy. It's like, oh, the most recent thing is the best. And it's like, but I'm like, I'm sure give me a week, I could come up with like a couple three, like, some of those early Fast and Furious movies. They probably had some banger action movies, like Fast 6. I'm thinking that summer probably has some really good, strong movies. I don't know what comes in there, but Son tells me that was one of those. We were on vacation, like, oh, we can go see this. Then you go see that next one a month later, and you're good to go. But right now, it's like, oh, this sounds really good because, like, all those movies, I'm paying my money to watch. Like, I'm still leery on Aquaman because I'm just like, I need reviews before I go see DC movies. Hey, I watched, like I said, I watched Shazam, and it wasn't on paying dollars. I watched it on HBO Max, and like, okay, I don't feel bad that I didn't pay money for this. It's like it was good, but it was like, yeah, that's cool. I'll pay when it's on Blu-ray for $8. I'm gonna pick it up. But
do they still have Blu-ray?
They better.
Listen. Every time they decide we're taking this thing
Jayce.
off your streaming platform, makes me and my Blu-ray library quite happy. Oh, you can take it away, but I still have it. Yeah,
I did.
Because they took Willow off of Disney Plus. I know you were down about that, Chief.
Oh man.
See? Exactly. But only
I've
if you
never
had a
seen that movie.
What the heck? You are just
No, we were talking about the TV show that also no one watched because they reviewed it so poorly.
Wait a second. You haven't seen the Willow movie?
Nah, that's the Andre the Giant.
Val Kilmer. That's Princess Bride. And hey, if you can't tell me you have not watched Princess Bride.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched that either.
Did you watch movies in the 80s?
I watched a lot of movies. The Goonies. That what's that? The Never Ending.
How did you watch the Never Ending Story and not watch?
Because at the end, man, when he was looking at the
Trey
wall,
got
the
you.
wall,
After
and the
Trey,
eyes,
you were like, I'm done with these movies.
that wolf thing. That was scary as hell.
That was scary.
Did you watch Crow?
Who?
Crow.
Say it again.
Crow. It was like
with the glaive.
Come on. Crow with Brandon Lee.
No, Crow. K-R-U.
Oh, with the thing that spun.
Okay, all right.
Yes, boy, that joint, man.
Okay,
man, that joint broke my heart, man.
Because you were missing some good movies there. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I was about to have to put a little video movie in.
Beastmaster.
Okay. All right.
But you need to watch Willow.
Man, pull for your freedom, Jeff. That was my favorite part about Beastmaster. You know what I mean? Pull for your freedom.
We need to have you watch.
Who?
There's too much. Expendables, all three, and then Willow.
I haven't even seen the Lord of the Rings. What is it? I have not watched a single.
You're about to say like you're talking about the one on Amazon.
I haven't seen any of them. I've never watched them. The three towers, the Three Kings.
Oh man, what is happening? Wow, Chief. I mean,
I never had interest. Like I started one day, I saw the.
Okay, what I need you to do with Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Rings, is keep watching until Aragorn shows up. When Aragorn shows up, you'll be like, all right, whatever. Who cares?
And I saw Aragorn with the dragon.
No. We're talking Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
like yeah. Like you once that
because the Hobbit part's a little slow.
It picks up. It's like now if you were saying the Hobbit series,
just watch the third one.
It's like I watched the second one. I'm like I don't even know what the heck y'all are talking. It's so and so. That's so and so. And that's so and so.
I heard they're coming out with a movie with the Gollum.
They're doing something with Gollum. I don't
he's got his own movie now.
I need you to watch these movies so you can be hyped for the Gollum movie when it comes.
Negative.
That
sounds like a weekend out of my life wasted.
It is 100% a weekend. But you will, it's a great weekend. I do not watch anything beside the extended editions of those movies.
Oh gosh, dang!
Oh,
it's a Snyder cut.
Snyder ain't got nothing on it. My English went to crack. But Snyder doesn't have anything on those extended editions. Those extended editions are probably easy 3.5 plus.
Oh my god.
That was a great way to sell it. Great way to sell it.
You watch Justice League extended edition.
Yeah, well, the Snyder cut, yeah.
Listen, those movies are worth watching the same way. Now, I'm not going to tell you, you may not be like, hey, how long have I been watching this movie? But they're really good, great stories. I mean, I can't sell those Lord of the Rings films to you enough. Really great movies, some of my favorites. So try watching.
You know, as soon as you hop off, I'm going to start it.
What'd you say?
You lying.
Dang liar. Because you won't stay awake to watch the movie started now. All right, let's wrap this bad boy up. It is that special time of the week. Gentlemen, who are your nominees for Dummies of the Week? Roshan, why don't you start us off here? I did not forget mine, by the way.
Huh?
I did not forget mine.
Okay, good. Well, my dummy of the week is anybody who did not think these streamers were going to end up taking movies off. Just like Jeff said, Willow, and some of those things you might come back to. It's like, and especially after HBO Max, they came, oh yeah, we're going to give you less of content. Except the stuff we don't want to do. We don't like anymore. So that favorite show you had, you really enjoyed watching Justice League on HBO Max. Yeah, now you're going to have to go back to Netflix to watch that. Oh, and you didn't get through all of, let's say, Injustice. Yeah, sorry. Young Justice. Sorry, we're going to put that. I mean, these shows, some of these are still there, but it's like, don't trust them. It's like, go buy them, put them on your shelf. Even as they say, oh, yeah, why would you do that? It's so you can watch when you want to. So for somebody like me who still can't watch the Maze Runner season, number 3, because nobody has it on stream. I know where the Blu-ray is, Jeff, but it takes effort to get it.
Yeah.
Well, for anybody who hasn't figured out, don't trust these streamers. If you like movies, you like repeated watching a movie, pick them up, watch them at your leisure, enjoy the streamers for their usefulness, but it is not final. So that's my dummy.
I just watched Zack Snyder's Justice League on Blu-ray. Yes, just because I can watch it on a bigger TV. My nominee for Dummy of the Week is the one I forgot last week. It's Marvel Comics with their decision to make over the Punisher by killing him once again. And they decided the Hand was going to resurrect his wife and maybe the rest of the kids, but she for sure is resurrected. She was aghast at what he'd become. Frank, you weren't supposed to be this vigilante killing machine taking out mobs and terrible people. Yeah, what you're supposed to do is just sit and be a carpenter or something. He didn't do that. So he went and killed a bunch of mob crews and bad guys. She was really disgusted with it. So she takes all his money, buys herself a new car, and while he's in prison, she goes, and by the way, sucker, I'm pregnant. I'm out of here. And that's what they decided to do with Punisher, who they decided to take his logo away because too many of a certain demographic were using it to be tools. And they were like, well, we can't keep our logo. We're going to let them have it. That's our copyright, but we'll just let those guys run with it. And now Punisher's no more because he's offensive to some people. But yeah, he's gone. He's out of there. Wow. He's vanished to a different world.
That is not surprising somehow.
All right, Chief, who you got?
These TikTokers, man.
Yo, all right, where are you going here?
These guys are out of control, man. They got little, like, the little stuff they used to do just used to harm themselves, eating Tide Pods, cinnamon. And I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? If you want to eat a Tide Pod, that's your business. You know what I mean? But now they got challenges where they just walk in your house. All kind of crazy things now, man. They get out in the middle of an intersection and start kicking your car. And somebody's probably not going to want their car kicked at some point.
I would assume that.
So, yeah, these TikTokers, man, they're dummies of the week. I think that society's getting out of control, man. I think people are getting out of control, and these youngins are way out of control. So my dummies of the week are these TikTokers who tend to just bother people who aren't bothering them. Do your thing, man. You want to TikTok, you want to dance and sit up in a park and do, I don't care. But you know what I mean? When you sit on the hood of my car at a light, we've got a problem, man.
You're playing it. You're going to be one of those people that's going to be upset if they kick your car?
I'm already upset just the thought of them kicking my car. You know what I mean?
So it'd be a totally different TikTok if that happens.
I mean, like at that point, if they sit on your car, don't you just accelerate just to have them fall off it?
I don't. You know what, man? At this point, I think you get to pull them off of it. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I don't want you. I want to put my hands on you. And then here's the other thing, man. The dude went to the park, and the lady was sitting with her little dog, and he grabbed it, picked it up, and ran off with it, right? And he just ran off and put it back in a circle, ran off and brought it back to her. But imagine somebody stealing your dog, even for 30 seconds, and running off with your dog, man.
Again, you say it's the TikTokers. I'm saying it's TikTok company. It's like, you know, they're going to ban you if they see you. It's like lawmakers are gunning for you.
Exactly. They're already trying to get rid of
and they're going to be like, you guys don't know what we might not like content moderation of speech, but you guys are helping morons get views. It's a little easier for us to just ban you and keep it moving.
Speaking of morons getting views, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in and hanging out with us. Bro Shot Chief, thank y'all for rolling with me tonight. As always, this episode allows movie files has been filed.